That's a nice roll, and with that birdie, now 2 under par for the tournament. Frank, a nice mix of opening holes here at Quail Hollow in the Wells Fargo Championship. Pretty short par 3 here at the second.
180-yard shot. Will play more like 175 for the half a club downhill. There's much more green on that right side. If you're not too sure what club to hit, then you should stay away from that left side.
Not a huge miss, Frank, but did lose this just a little to the right.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to catch a piece of the green, though.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Well, this one's tracking. Suddenly a ray of sunshine with that birdie.
There is hope. And on the top 25.
Moving on to the third hole now. It's a par 4, 452 yards.
Big sweeping dogleg left, and the fairway actually goes in the opposite direction of the dogleg. Must hit a good tee shot for 2 reasons. One, to find the fairway, and also the length of this hole, over 450 yards.
Excellent drive right there, Frank.
Circa 310.
Probably going to have to hit one more club here, Frank. Little bit uphill.
Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
And so the approach shot finishes up some 25 feet from the hole.
Yeah, not his best, but certainly not his worst.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Just a couple of feet. It's a -2 early in the round. Action is underway, and we'll take you out to hole number 4. Frank, I've been impressed with the play to this point early in the round.
Yeah, it's solid without being spectacular, and that's actually a huge compliment.
That one is just a little offline, and that will not end up in the fairway. Frank, just into that first cut.
Yeah, it's sitting up. Really, this isn't too bad a situation.
Frank, not surprisingly, Rory McIlroy owns the event record here, 21 under par. That came in 2015. He won by a touchdown by 7 shots. And then we all remember what he did here in 2010.
Yeah, remember the runner-up, which was Patrick Rogers. He shot 14 under. And that's won just about every other championship at this event. So it shows you the magnitude of Rory's victory. An artist needs a canvas, a golfer needs a golf course. For Rory McIlroy, Quail Hollow was the perfect landscape to show his skills.
Frank, that's not one you're necessarily thinking about making.
No, just a good putt, though. There's no two ways about that. He's putting well.
Been a little too much of that, Frank, just sort of ho-hum pars. Frank, in today's modern game where players are hitting it so far, I always feel like one of the more exciting holes is a reachable par 5, and here we are at the 5th, 570 yards.
Yeah, this is reachable providing you hit a good drive. Otherwise, it becomes very awkward on the layup. Sort of often threading the ball out of trees and just trying to find some sort of third shot. So to your point, big advantage with a good tee shot here.
Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. Second shot coming out of the rough here. So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Frank, on an uphill shot like this one, did you do anything differently in terms of your setup over the ball?
Yeah, I made sure the ball wasn't too far forward because on an uphill shot, there's always a struggle to get all your weight going forward.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play, very solid. On the green, and looking at a birdie opportunity. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Did a nice job with that putt. Good read, good speed. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Nice par to remain at 2 under. Wow, Frank, this is all you want in a par 3. 250 yards here at the 6th.
Hey, that's what these guys need, especially in a PGA championship. Fortunately, the hole plays a little bit downhill, but 250, whichever way you cut it, is a big par 3.
So he's hit it inside 30 feet, not his best, but still a chance.
Yeah, the odd 28-footer, and that's exactly what it is. I've seen a few of those go down.
Missed on that one, Frank.
Yeah, not a problem.
This from about 10 feet. That's costly right there.
Painful.
That takes him to 1 under on the day.
Well, Frank, an eagle is in play here at the par 5 7th.
And a 6 and a 7 and an 8 or a 9, actually. This is a potential scorecard wreck with the 7th hole. Many a tee shot has found that creek on the right, trees, problems on the left. There's no question there's a reward for a good tee shot here. But then there's a decision on, do you go for this par 5 and 2? It's not overly long, just over 530 yards. It is very tempting. Oh, this is heading in the wrong direction.
Uh-oh. So toweled off, dried off, and ready to go.
Yeah, let's hope this swing he hasn't still got the floaties on.
Playing his 4th shot after the 3rd was wet. Frank, you always talk about it not compounding the error, but here again, another shot from the rough.
Yeah, if you try again.
Should be pretty good right there, on the safe side. How about that shot? From that lie to get it that close, tremendous effort. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Nice par to remain 1 under. Frank, I love a drivable par 4. In the modern power game, it really adds an element of excitement. And here we go at the 350-yard par 4/8.
Well, you're definitely going to love this one then, Rich, because it ticks all the boxes here. There's no water in play, just a few bunkers down the left and the one that protects the right side of the green. And you've got a really narrow green, so plenty of reward with minimal risk.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
Frank, it makes the game easy when you play it from the fairway.
Especially when you play it from a lie like that.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
How about that? Every green in regulation. Excellent ball striking today. These putts keep the round together. Who knows? It is a 4-round tournament, setting himself up for a good weekend, maybe a great one. The young star makes his birdie. Here we are at the 9th hole at Quail Hollow, 495-yard par 4. Frank, it is the longest par 4 on the golf course. Is it, in your estimation, the toughest?
I think the green stops it from being the toughest, Rich, because it does kick in from either side. But when you see holes like this, there's no surprise why the Rory McIlroys and the Ricky Fellas have won around here. This is just a great driving par 4. What a great shot.
Nicely played shot, about 310 yards down the fairway.
Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one.
There's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
Just a pure strike. A perfect result. He'll have a good look at birdie now.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Well, after that birdie, has to be feeling as though they're not out of it just yet.
They're not far away from the first page of the leaderboard. A couple more birdies.
In the fairway here at the 10th, nice way to start off the back nine.
Second shot. This is not heading in the right direction.
No, looks like it's going to be in the rough. That one ends up in the rough.
Oh, that went sideways.
Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. He has a 12-footer here. Moves into the top 10 with that birdie. Back here at the par 4 11th at Quail Hollow, set to tee off. What's the right game plan here, Frank?
Oh, there's two, really. That left bunker off the tee, it's about 265 yards to get it on the fairway, or 308 yards, 310 yards run out there. I've seen players just try and carry the bunker, sort of set up a short iron, and I've seen players like Rory McIlroy just try and blast a driver with a hook on it. Both strategies have worked.
Well, he pays a price for that.
Yeah, when you don't see the top of the ball in the rough, you know it's not sitting pretty. You'll need a bit of force to extract one out of there.
Frank, we remember what Rory McIlroy did here in 2010, his first PGA Tour victory, a 62 in the final round. It was also the first victory for Ricky Fowler.
Yeah, and oddly enough, it was in a playoff, and in that playoff, Ricky just pulled out a driver and smashed it down there, then hit a sand iron. that front left flag, basically the gimme distance. Not only did he win in the playoff, but he beat Rory McILROy, the then world #1 in DA points. And that was the same Ricky Fowler that, remember, in the playoff in 2015 for the Players' Championship, drove the ball in equally daunting fashion over those 3 playoff holes at TPC Sawgrass.
Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
And getting ready for the putt. No damage done, made the par. Here we are now at the 12th, and Frank, this is a beautiful but dangerous hole, par 4.
It is in a number of ways. The hole bends gently to the right, which you'd think would favor a nice little fade, but the fairway just seems to shrink up. I've seen this fairway missed by so many good players. And plus its yardage, 450 odd. You can't really lay back too far, otherwise you've got too long for your second shot.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are, because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
And as he strides up here to the 12th green, having hit it in regulation, he knows now that his work is by no means done. A long putt coming up.
Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
Shouldn't be a problem here. Good solid work right there, and stays at 4 under. Now the par 3, 13th hole. Frank, this one 210 yards.
Very, very good par 3. This is actually a big green. It's 37 yards deep, but it actually plays small. Has a front right portion, there's a roll-off area in the middle, and there's a roll-off area in the back. So don't be deceived by the size of this green. You better be pitching that tee shot right bang in the middle.
That was a solid strike and a good result. We'll make birdie if this drops. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. And that's in for a par. Wow, Frank, this is a really good little par 4, isn't it, the 14th?
It is, and this is where one of those strong 3-woods comes in. The last 50 or 60 yards is the ball kicks down and towards the left, and it sounds like an aggressive play, but like a hard 3-wood trying to run it down there is actually not a bad play.
Is it drivable?
It is drivable, but it's whether it's worth the risk.
Well, the tee shot has landed in the bunker.
All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
Midway through this back nine, could use this birdie here at the 14th.
And with that birdie, moves to third place. Now as we arrive at the par 5 15th hole here at Quail Hollow, 577 yards. Frank, I think a player has to be thinking about doing what Rory McIlroy did in 2010.
It's the last of the holes that you can really be aggressive on, Rich. So a good drive down here. I'm well aware of the fact that there's water on the left. This is a good chance to make something happen before you play the green mile.
And that's what McIlroy did. Hit a tracer, then a 5-iron, knocked it in for eagle, shot 62, and won for the first time on the PGA Tour. Now from a good position in the fairway, his second shot. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Birdie try up next. This one just requires a little bit of focus.
He's going to love it.
How far was that? That was miles away.
This is the start of what some say is the toughest finishing stretch on the PGA Tour. It's known as the Green Mile. Frank, what makes it so challenging?
Well, this hole in particular, Rich, the dogleg right, it means it plays every inch of it's just over 500 yards. That bunker you can see down the right, 325 yards to carry that. If you can fly the ball that far, at least you can chew off 2/3 of this hole, and that is well required here. Otherwise, it's a long, long second shot.
Up with the big boys now, Frank.
Well, we saw that previous tee shot go 310. This one's further.
This is an approach shot that will really test a player. Second to the 16th. Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
Well, that's not the way you wanted to start out the backside here.
Yeah, you can't afford from inside 10 feet. You feel like you have to make those, and I mean, they really sting when they miss.
Now in second, after that par.
Only one more player to overtake now.
Frank, the 17th here at Quail Hollow. It is all you want.
And a bit more, actually. The only advantage the player has, it plays a little bit downhill. But when you look at the lake in front of you, if there's any swirling breeze out there, it just becomes a nightmare trying to choose the right club. It was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Second shot, good look at the green. Either misjudged the win or simply just pulled the wrong club, Frank.
Going to take some skill now.
Not in the fairway, but not too bad. Just in that first cut. No way! He holed it, Frank.
Great pitch shot.
Now to the finishing hole here at Quail Hollow. Frank, what can we expect?
If there was a name for this hole, Rich, it should be called Narrows. The creek that meanders its way down the left side and actually divides that hole into really half the size of what a normal par 4 should be. That makes it hard. The bunker on the right is your bailout area, just over 290 yards to get past that, and then the narrowest green that still sits up against the lake. This is just a brutal finish.
Those are good numbers right there. 320, 320 yards. Just crushed it in the fairway. This is just a superb performance. Great round to this point, Frank, and you can really see that reflected in his mood today.
Yeah, it just looks too easy. Swinging the club beautifully. Ball's going exactly where he wants it to. He's not trying to take too many risks. So consequently, he's getting birdie opportunity after birdie opportunity.
Well, he'll be disappointed with that, no doubt.
Yeah, swing didn't quite look right on that one.
Solid play, heart of the green. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. And with that, a very strong performance. It's a round of 66. There you have it, Frank. First round is complete. What are your thoughts, partner?
Rich, I think anyone inside the current top 10 of that leaderboard is certainly well placed to go on and take this championship.
This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo set to call all the action here at the Wells Fargo Championship. We are at Quail Hollow, and Frank, it is really one of the best courses on tour.
It is a great state of North Carolina where Donna Ross developed so many great courses. They're the sort of courses that we're used to seeing, but this is a relatively new golf course. First opened up in 1961, but it certainly fits in with the North Carolina landscape. Mature trees, holes well cut out, beautiful greens, and interesting finish.
How do you like that finishing stretch? They call it the Green Mile.
Some might think it's purgatory, but I think it's the perfect touch to a great golf course.
He moved that one out there, but he is not going to like the lie.
That moved down in the rough.
Second shot from the rough. It's on the way.
Hard to control out of the rough.
Looks a little left.
Frank, how good was that just to get it on the green?
Well, from that shot there, you would have thought for sure that there was no chance he had of finding the green. That was some shot.
Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it's going to hurt the course.
That's a solid par. Still in it, Frank. Frank, a nice mix of opening holes here at Quail Hollow in the Wells Fargo Championship. Pretty short par 3 here at the second.
180-yard shot will play more like 175 for the half a club downhill. There's much more green on that right side. If you're not too sure what club to hit, then you should stay away from that left side.
Frank has missed the green here in regulation, but still hasn't missed the chance to make the par.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he's got this shot in his toolbox coming up.
Been this way all day. Airtight, no mistakes, solid shot.
And yet another green in regulation.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. That was a little bizarre right there. I didn't expect that. Just a little tap in here. And he makes it for a bogey here. Frank, here at the third, players facing a challenging tee shot.
For a number of reasons, Rich. One, that the hole bends to the left. Two, that the fairway starts to run out. And three, the length of the second shot. You get rewarded the better you hit your tee shot down here.
Frank, not the longest hitter, but sometimes you win tournaments by putting it in a good spot, and that's where we are right here, 280 yards out.
Yeah, 280 down the middle of the fairway. That'll never get you in trouble.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, would you say?
Well, that one didn't work out. It didn't look bad in the air. It hit the green, but didn't sit.
Yeah, it was never going to stop.
Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Steady climber right here with another par.
In the top 5. Should be well pleased with that right now.
Now to the 4th hole here at Quail Hollow, just under 490 yards.
Yeah, they used to have the tee on the right side, which actually made that tee shot very uncomfortable. When they put the new tee box in on the left side, it's a little easier to hit that fairway because that fairway slopes from right to left. Oh, that was sweet. Straight down the middle. Second shot.
Paying attention like a little kid at school, Frank. That baby's sitting up.
Sitting up. It's got the best view as well. You don't even need binoculars from where that ball is.
Pretty good shot right there. Settles in over the putt. Workmanlike hole. He walks away with a par. Here we are at the par 5 fifth. It's 570 yards. Frank, this should be reachable for most players, don't you think?
Yeah, if you hit a good tee shot, especially with the draw, it will be. But the hardest part of this is judging that kick on the fairway that kicks the ball to the right. And it sort of turns at that awkward area at where the top of your tee shot range. That's where that dog leg is.
So that sets up a tougher second shot, missing the fairway with the drive, now in the rough. Second shot coming out of the rough here. So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Little uphill to this green, Frank. Frank in a bit of trouble here at the par 5, missing the green on that third shot.
They're just battling to make par. And this is going to be difficult.
Shouldn't be a problem here. He's made it. Now set to tee off at the 6th. It is a long par 3, 250 yards.
We could take a little bit off for the downhill, but whichever way you look at it, it's still going to be a beefy par 3. Protected on the left by that front bunker, and if you sort of scoot one long, there's another bunker over there as well. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. Just trying to make clean contact from the rough. Okay, good shot on the dance floor. Nothing wrong with that par putt. Well, Frank, an eagle is in play here at the par 5 7th.
And a 6 and a 7 and an 8 or a 9, actually. This is a potential scorecard record, the 7th hole. Many a tee shot has found that creek on the right, trees, problems on the left. There's no question there's a reward for a good tee shot here. But then there's a decision on do you go for this par 5 and 2. It's not overly long, just over 530 yards. It is very tempting.
Not the best shot, this one in the rough, but still will have a play from there. Not looking good, Frank.
I think it's wet.
Unfortunately, that ball is wet. After hitting it in the drink, this is the 4th shot.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. The scorecard is quickly adding up. This is never going to go right. Just depends how far left.
Out of the rough and just a bit offline. Well, the stats say that is a green hit in regulation, but it's not yet a par on the card. Very tough putt coming up. That's as bad as I have seen. Folks, that one is now on the fringe. Little redemption chance here. Had bogey yesterday. Too bad. 2 drop shots right there with a double bogey. Frank, in modern professional golf, we're seeing more and more drivable par 4s, like the 8th here at Quail Hollow, 350 yards. What do you think of this hole?
It's not a bad hole. Drivable, some might say, but the angle of the green means it's hard for that tee shot to keep on the green. But I think the reward for hitting a driver is try and sort of aim at that tree just left of the green. And the reason why is then you've got to pitch up the direction of the green. This is a really narrow green.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
On the green, and a chance for birdie. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Always 2 components to the long lag putt, the speed, number 1, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. And getting ready for the putt.
Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. Frank, this is a really good way to finish out the front side here at Quail Hollow. 495-yard par 4.
Yeah, it's the longest par 4 at Quail Hollow. Some say it might be the toughest. I'm not quite in that camp, and the reason why, that green slopes in from both sides, the left and the right, but you can see why good drivers have done well here, because there's a big reward for thumping a big, long, straight drive down here.
Nothing to argue about there, right in the fairway. This is the second shot at the par 4. This has not been a great round as we head toward the finishing stretch here. You can tell the winds have really affected the shots out on the course. Let's see if they can muster something coming to the finish line. That one is bunker bound, it looks like. Well, he'll have to get up and down from the bunker to save his par. So getting set for a greenside bunker shot. Frank, when I think of the great bunker players in the history of the sport, I think about Gary Player, Seve Ballesteros, whom you knew so well. What did they do that made them so effective on these greenside bunker shots?
They had an attitude for a start that was different. For them, it was, they saw possibilities. And they would imagine the amount of sand. Remember, because this is the only shot in golf where you don't have to hit the ball first. So they would really choose the amount of sand behind the ball, whether that was an inch or 2. Aim the club at that and made sure they followed through.
That's how you maintain momentum and make those putts for par. On the tee now at the 10th at Quail Hollow, par 5.
Just under 600 yards, so once again the 300 yard plus tee shot gets a big advantage here, as it should on a reachable par 5. A nice little draw off that tee, keeping it right of the bunkers, should be ideal.
That is a fantastic long shot.
There's no way he could hit that without a tail breeze. Surely that breeze had to help there.
Get down. Lay down. Certainly had enough power, just didn't have any touch. Ball sitting down here in the rough. He's digging in. Early part of this back 9 and a good approach shot. Now we'll have this for birdie. This one just requires a little bit of focus.
It's amazing. Doesn't matter how close it goes. It's an extra shot. That one will definitely hurt.
So they'll tap in. That's the idea. Just knock it in. Now to the par 4 11. Frank, what do you think of this hole?
It's an interesting hole, Rich, and I'm curious to see how aggressive players will play here today. The easy way, obviously, is just hit it down the right side and set up a nice second shot with a short iron. Or the most fun way is to take the big stick out and try and bite off as much of that corner as you choose. But be prepared to pay the price should it not come off.
Frank, it's a hard game to play from the high grass.
And that's where he's been more often than not today.
Staring at a 125-yard shot now.
Rich, it's a different challenge today. The weather is so day-to-day out here, and when you get a breeze like this that's kicking up, you really have to sort of change your approach to playing these holes.
It looks nice out there, the blue skies, plenty of high sunshine, but it's a challenge because those winds have really freshened up. So a chance for birdie after another solid approach shot.
Really. This is an awkward length.
Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it's going to hurt the course.
Workmanlike hole. He walks away with a par. Here we are now at the 12th, and Frank, this is a beautiful but dangerous hole, par 4.
It is in a number of ways. The hole bends gently to the right, which you'd think would favor a nice little fade, but the fairway just seems to shrink up. I've seen this fairway missed by so many good players. And plus its yardage, 450 odd. You can't really lay back too far, otherwise you've got too long for your second shot.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now we'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
Solid play, heart of the green. Good putt. Here we are at the par 3, 13th hole. It's 210 yards. What does it take here, Frank?
It's one actually where you'd rather be conservative than aggressive here. And the reason why is this green tends to roll off at the back and the front and the middle there. So it's just something that pitches more in the central part of the green is really what's required.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid.
That's one of the more depressing sights in golf. You hit a good one, and then it just sucks back too much spin off the green. Locked in on the read and the speed. Seems to really have the touch today. Well, now we come to the really interesting 345-yard par 4 14th. Frank, I'm thinking that if you're leading, you're probably not going to try to drive this and take on the risk with the water on the left. But if you're behind, you have a chance to make up some ground.
Yeah, I have it written in my yardage book, Rich, on this hole. Only good and bad things happen with a driver, nothing in between.
Good contact, good result. Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
And here at 14, another chance to make a birdie with the right approach shot.
Yeah, laying back there a lengthy way in, the green will still kick to the left. So even though it's only a wedge in hand, you've got to aim right at this flag.
Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Well, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot. And yet another birdie, this time inching into the top 5.
We're now teed up at the 15th hole. It is the final par 5 here at Quail Hollow, 577 yards. And Frank, I remember this hole well. McIlroy stiffed a 5-iron on his way to making eagle, his first PGA Tour win. That came back in 2010.
And the opportunity exists again here. Under 600 yards, plays downhill off the tee. Those two bunkers on the right are perfectly situated. That second one about 310 yards to it. So something straight at that one with a little draw will set up that mid-iron or long iron that has to be hit very high and uphill.
So missed the fairway. Now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. Oh, no, look out, Frank. I think he flushed that one.
Oh, this is going, gone.
Frank, not where he wants to be, but not out of the hole here at the par 5.
No, but Rich, to drop a shot here would really set him backwards. Great shot out of the rough. He avoided all the troubles just to get that on the green.
That was not an easy shot. He'll settle. Struggling a bit with the flat stick, and a drop shot here at the 15th hole. Sitting right now at 2 over par for the round. Well, too bad he gives one back. At last, we have arrived at the start of one of the most daunting finishing stretches in all of golf. They call it the Green Mile, 16, 17, and 18 here at Quail Hollow. The 16th is a par 4, 508 yards, Frank.
And this hole was made even more difficult when they pushed that green further left to bring the water more in play with the second shot. I mean, it's a great par 4. It's strong in every single department.
Headed for the bunker? Well, too bad. He'll have to play from the bunker. Well, we've seen this before today. In the bunker. Digs in, ready for the bunker shot.
Yeah, second shot here. Just try and aim a little bit behind that ball, an inch or two.
See if he can get this one to drop here at the 16th for a birdie. Birdie try again here today. Had a nice birdie on this hole yesterday. Looks like he just misread that. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business.
Just drip that in.
Well, it's 4 1/4 inches. Use it all.
Frank, the 17th here at Quail Hollow. It is all you want.
And a bit more, actually. The only advantage the player has is it plays a little bit downhill. But when you look at the lake in front of you, if there's any swirling breeze out there, it just becomes a nightmare trying to choose the right club. This looks like it's going to find the target.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
Good try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week. Just a few too many pars. Here we are, the 18th hole at Quail Hollow. Simply put, Frank, a player needs to hit maybe his best tee shot of the day.
I would agree with you, Rich. If you were to measure this hole from trees on the left to trees on the right, it's actually a really wide fairway or expansive land. But that creek that just meanders its way through the middle of this hole completely changes the nature of this hole. And consequently, you hit the nail on the head. If you don't hit a good tee shot, you will rack up something here. And I've got no idea how big it will be.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards.
Final approach shot of the day, here at 18. Frank, what's the key?
A nice high shot that just holds from that left side would be perfect. But it's so hard to get the ball all the way back because this second shot is played slightly uphill, nearly 3/4 of a club. Like cyber vision, shot after shot, right at the flag.
Just dialed in.
See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie. Player knows they're on the move with that birdie. Quick glance at the leaderboard. They can see, Frank, they're not out of it.
Things are very volatile right now.